Hello, my name is Cami Wynn, and this is for my Week 7 lesson plan of Video Contextualized Vocabulary. That's a mouthful. So, this will take place in 2nd grade, and the students will have the ability to develop in-depth knowledge of word meanings. What you'll need to have is a copy of the Alaska Adventures. So here we go. We're going to go over 4 different words. I'll go through the whole scenario with the first word, and you can do the following with the rest of the 4 words. So before reading the selection, introduce the meaning of the target words one at a time. So we're going to go through vista, coordinate, interior, and route. And these are all words found in the book passage itself of Alaska Adventures. So first, we're going to start with the word vista. Start with reading and pronouncing the word. So you would print the word vista on the board, and you would have students read and pronounce it. So you would say, let's say the word together, and they would say vista. And you're going to ask, what is the word? And they would say vista back. And then we're going to give the students an explanation. So explain the word's meaning in everyday language that is clear and accessible to students. So you would say, a vista is a faraway scenic view or a beautiful view in a high place. So that would be the vocabulary word and its definition. So now you're going to provide it into context. So you're going to say that from the passage, you find the page, and it says, Jack climbed to the top of a hill and took a picture of the beautiful vista that stretched out as far as he could see. And then you're going to ask, why did Jack climb the hill? What could he see when he got to the top? And so what do you think the vista means? So then the students would answer these questions according to the passage and, of course, to what definition they just learned of vista. And then you want to engage actively with the words. You want to provide playful opportunities for students to interact with the word and process its meaning right away. Ask questions that require students to apply their target words to the meaning. And then you want to require students to use and apply the meaning of the target word in a different context. You want to tell your students you are going to start a sentence and you want them to think of an ending. And then you also want to help students understand that they have a place for a target word in their vocabularies and help them use the word. Try to apply it into everyday life. These are words that you want students to be able to know what they mean, 20 years down the road that they learned. Vocabulary can be a very powerful thing. And again, you would continue this with the words coordinate, interior, and route. You're going to provide copies of the select from the passage of Alaska Adventures and have students read the text independently, silently, or aloud. When text is read aloud in class, stop and give a quick explanation of any target words that is likely to affect comprehension in the selection. And then after reading this selection, you want to provide instruction activities that get students actively involved in thinking about word meaning. So use story context as a basis for discussing the meaning with the students. So again, go back through the passage and start discussion questions of what things mean. For an correction for errors, what you could do is if a student is not enunciating the word correctly, you could have them stop, watch you, and then practice again. Or if a student doesn't understand the vocabulary, maybe have them have another student help tell them, or something along those lines, or repeat it yourself. It just depends on how well they take it. You can also write down the vocabulary meaning with the vocabulary word for notes for them to help them remember, or they can take notes themselves depending on how they can do that. For instructional considerations for my ELL students, I would have these students try and relate these words to conjugates in their native language, especially if they're Spanish speaking. Try to relate these words in a way with maybe visuals. That way they could also visualize it and maybe actions to do with it, depending on the vocabulary word, of course. For special education students, I would have a list of word meanings copied down for students who may not be able to focus or they may forget where we are at. So for those students, that's when this list of vocabulary words comes into play. And I could also highlight on the Alaska Adventures where these words are at and maybe have them help recall what the words mean. For talented and gifted students, I would have these students work harder from the passages find harder words, excuse me. I would have them find harder words from the passages and see if they can come up with meanings to the words. So find the harder words in the passage and say, well, I wonder what that means, and have them take a guess, and then you guys can look it up and see if they were right or not. Have them write down their educated guess versus what it actually means and see how close they get. All right, I think that's it for this lesson. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and I look forward to your feedback. Thank you.